Happy Thursday and welcome to another edition of Husker Online Headlines. We're presented by Sartor Hamann Jewelers. We'll hear more from them in the show, and also by our title sponsor, StayHome.Care. They offer many of the same types of personalized care you might find in a nursing home, right in the comfort of your home, whether your loved one is young or old, living with a disability or recovering from surgery, or simply just needs extra help when they're sick. StayHome.Care provides consistent, compassionate support from personal care and companionship, daily tasks like laundry, meal prep, and assistance with appointments or outings. We're here when your loved ones need you and you can't be there. Give them a call at 402-205-2233 or just visit their website at StayHome.Care to learn more. Thanks to StayHome.Care, longtime title sponsor here of the Husker Online Headline Show. But let's get into it, Sip. Headline number one, big week ahead, and Matt Rhule said a stern message on Monday. How will his Huskers respond, his players, his coaching staff? I think we're all intrigued because we have not really seen that version of Matt Rhule in 3 years, where he came out pretty hot on Monday, and you know, I think it kind of set the tone for the week.
I've never seen a head coach at Nebraska do that, and you've been covering it almost as long as I have. So Osborne,
You never seen Osborne do? I'm just kidding.
No. Solich, no, right? Never. You started covering the Solich era, right?
Oh yeah,
Solich after Solich was Callahan. Never saw Callahan do that, right? Never even close, right? Pelini, now as volatile as Bo could be, he never would never venture that far, right? Ever. Riley, come on. I mean, what are we talking about? Frost, hell, 12-minute Monday press conferences sometimes. So this is, and I'm not saying, I'll tell you what, Sean, a lot of what Rhule said resonated with me in real time. As I sat there in real time, that's why I always go by, I was okay with it.
Well, because I think honestly, that's what people wanted to hear. Like if he went up there and tried to sugarcoat the Minnesota performance and the showing out there, I don't think people would have, the state and your fan base and your stakeholders would have responded very well.
I don't think so. Now, the other way, the other approach could have been, and this would have been rough. He could have said, we're not talking about Minnesota. I'm moving on. You guys, we're moving on as a program. So I'm not going to answer a bunch of questions here. That could have gotten rough too. Now, I've talked to coaches this week who said you could do that. There's a school of thought that says we're burying this quick, flushing it quick. We're moving on. I'm not going to have a big meeting Sunday with the guys and say this is unacceptable, all of that, and then go to the media and have that. I think that would have been tough. I think, and I agree with you. I don't think you can do that at Nebraska.
I will say though, this loss has lingered longer. And they're 5-2, and that shouldn't be a huge shock when you thought about the preseason. Hey, Nebraska could be 5-2 after 7. That was a very realistic record,
right? 100%.
I think it had to do more with just what it looked like. You just didn't expect. Minnesota had not been playing very good football. They could have easily had lost to Rutgers and Purdue, and they figured out ways to win those two games.
They didn't have a sack in their previous two games, then had 9. They hadn't had a sack. I'm repeating this. They did not have a sack in their previous two games, not one, and then had 9.
And they didn't really have any runs of significance.
Darius Taylor in the previous two games carried 22 times for 42 yards. In this game, he carried 24 times for 148. 22 for 42 the previous two, and then 148 in this game, including what? In pre
71-yard run,
right.
But pre soft tissue injury, Darius Taylor is he almost rushed for 1,000 yards the previous year. So he's not like a no-name back.
He's not a scrub.
He was regarded as one of the better returning backs in the conference. And
100.
It appears he's healthy now.
Yeah, he ran for 986 last year and 10 touchdowns. Then he's been banged up, but he looked fine on that run, on the 71-yard run. So what you're saying though is correct. It was the optics. They're terrible.
We had our Big Out wrap-up show on Tuesday, and Avery Howard was our guest from Hurrdat, and she does a great job covering the team, obviously, and she's around it everything. She travels and understands, and she played college soccer at the Division I level, so she understands sports at a high level. And she made a great observation, just saying, I was on the sidelines pregame at Maryland and pregame at Minnesota, and she goes, I can go back and rewatch our tapes, and just completely different level of energy just from what she saw.
Yeah.
And I that jumped out. That got my attention. Because it is hard, like, to notice that kind of stuff. But did they come out, like, even in pregame, just kind of like with a half effort, kind of maybe not the level of focus that you would want to see?
Well, Avery was a Division I athlete, so she probably has she has a trained eye. Body language matters. Any coach should tell, maybe not any coach, but a lot of coaches would tell you, body language absolutely matters. And if it wasn't where it needed to be, it probably wasn't where it needed to be going into the Minnesota game. Energy, that stuff, it matters. You saw, man, what I noticed is once the game started and, that quarterback, the Minnesota quarterback, would complete a pass, and the guy would get up and shake his fist, and they were obviously energized at a high level. They wanted to win this game. You could see it you could see it in Minnesota's body language. You couldn't see it in Nebraska's. That's trouble. That's trouble.
And if I was a player or a coach even, and I heard us observing this, or Avery Howard or other people talking about this, it would grind my gear. I'd want to atone for this and play you hope that's the mentality.
Well, and that gets us to the essence of this game, in my opinion. Was Minnesota an aberration? Remember, Sean, we were talking after the Maryland game. Man, looks like Nebraska's going in a pretty good direction.
They could win out.
Yeah, they're win out. They're winning close games that they used to lose. They're 5-1. Where could this go? Now the conversation, as it often does in college football, there's massive overreaction. Is now you wonder about this team. That's what this game is to me. Was Minnesota an aberration, or are there real problems?
In a year ago, remember the Northern Iowa game they won, but like Mark Farley recognized that Nebraska was not complete, and he was not going to compliment them in the defeat. He's like, right. Yeah, they were okay.
Yeah.
And then the Rutgers game, we kind of saw more where they eked out a win where they easily could have lost, and then they didn't win a game until Wisconsin.
Right. And they look good against Wisconsin. But yeah, kind of what you're getting at is this program making progress? Progress to me will be what? Responding to that loss, getting 6 wins, and then setting yourself up to win maybe 8,
or more.
Right. You're always looking for progress. And really in year 3, if there's real progress in this program, they win this game. Now, if they lose the game and it looks anything like Minnesota, how would you sell progress? How would you sell it?
Yeah, it's hard. Good. I'll tell you, the defense too, when you watched the defense last week, it just didn't ever feel like they're getting off blocks, getting pressure with 4-man rushes.
Not really.
Not really. When's the last time you've seen the D-line maul them up front and win?
Well, it's okay.
Maybe Michigan State.
This is really good. It gets you into the heart of these conversations. What Rhule said on Monday was, I don't want the defense just to defend. I want them to wreak havoc. I want them to force turnovers. I want sacks. I want them to impose will. I want them to wreck the other team, not just defend, not just do what they're supposed to do. And then what did you hear? That John Butler called a vanilla game. The way he called the game was too vanilla, according to the head coach. And then John Butler said, yeah, it was. The Darius Taylor run of 71 yards altered my approach. How much of that, Sean, is the way the secondary tackles?
And was that flashbacks to Michigan?
Well, it's the same play. They run that outside zone to the boundary.
Or they spread you out and they force your run fits to be perfect.
Yeah.
And if somebody takes a bad angle or bad run fit.
And I think 2 guys did.
Home run.
Yep.
So, yeah.
They run that. It's the outside zone, or they maybe mid zone to the boundary. That's been problematic. It's been problematic.
All right. Before we take it to headline 2, again, we're brought to you by our title sponsor, StayHome.Care. Call them at 402-205-2233. And also our presenting sponsor, Sartor Hamann Jewelers. It's your go-to for Husker jewelry needs. It's home of the one-of-a-kind, handcrafted Husker jewelry featuring our famous 14-karat gold corncob earrings and pendants made by hand in our master jeweler shop using real gold and emeralds for the leaves. These are in limited supply. Also, our Nebraska State pendants featuring the outline of the great state of Nebraska with a ruby in the place where Lincoln is on the map. Be the talk of your tailgate with this unique, one-of-a-kind Husker jewelry. We sell out of these every season, so make sure you get your orders in now. Mention Husker Online in the store, or just put the word Husker Online, all lowercase, all one word, and you'll get 10% off your orders online. Sartor Hamann Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition as famous as the Cornhuskers, 120 years of excellence, 4 generations of family. Don't mess around with the rest. Come to the best. Sartor Hamann Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. Online at SartorHamann.com. When only the best will do. Sartor Hamann Jewelers. All right, let's take it to headline number 2. Sack alert. Nebraska issues on the offensive line threaten the season. Yep. And we hit on this earlier. Nebraska gave up 9 sacks last week. 5 of them were charged to the O-line. A couple were charged to the back. Some might have been charged to the quarterback or the coverage down the field. It was a collaborative effort between the backs, the quarterback, and the line. And
yes. Yeah. Go ahead, Sean.
The book is out on Nebraska. Like how to play them, how to defend Rhule. You better believe Northwestern and all of these smart coaches and very smart players they have on the roster are going to have a very similar plan at attacking Nebraska.
You're right. Rhule did a good job on Monday of kind of detailing what's gone on. It's not first of all, I hope people understand this isn't just a problem that cropped up. I mean, you go back to Cincinnati game. Cincinnati got Dillon 3 times. They sacked him 3 times. And then remember Michigan, that's when it was really eyebrow raising. Michigan got him 7 times. Sean, remember that was the speed to power game. That was speed to power. The tackles didn't hold up. Again, Nebraska's tackles didn't hold up.
The speed to power.
God. And then against Michigan State, Matt said it was more about they had a downfield game to throw downfield. The game plan was throw downfield. I think that Dillon held it a little too much. And then in this game, well, Maryland, they did better. They only allowed 1 sack. This game, everything went wrong. I'd say 3 of those sacks were charged to the running back position. Dillon, probably 1 or 2 of them. And as you mentioned, 4 or 5 offensive line issues. But it's so now, this is what you're watching. You're right out of the gate against Northwestern because they, as you pointed out, I think earlier in the week, Northwestern can rush the passer. They have 2 or 3 guys that you worry about.
Well, and what teams have done too with the inside blitzes with the linebacker, you know, they bring the edge pressure, which kind of screws around Dillon's thought about the pocket. Then they bring inside pressure up the middle. And so there's nowhere to go.
Trouble.
Like there's no outside lane and there's no inside lane.
See, Minnesota might have given teams a blueprint in that regard, and they condensed the
It's what Illinois did 2 years ago.
Condensed it.
The Brett Bielema second half plan.
Yeah. You notice how the Russians approach it. They stay disciplined. So Dillon can't get out. We listened together to PJ Fleck's post-game press conferences as we were driving back, and he said they were terrified of Dillon getting outside the pocket and being able to create. So they condensed the pocket, didn't let him do that.
Because Dillon is freakish when he gets out and his feet aren't set, and he can still whip a great pass in a situation where most quarterbacks can't.
Right. I hope people understand he's good when he gets outside the pocket.
Because it's easier. You're looking at less of the field.
Yeah.
When you're rolling right, you're just looking, and then he's got kind of that shortstop throw where he can whip it down the field.
Great way to put it. Yeah, he can throw it like an infielder. So teams are cognizant of that. But now, if you're Nebraska, the question I would ask you, Sean, is why not roll him out more? Why not just roll him out away from pressure?
No, my instruction to him and the offense would be the ball's got to get out of Dillon's hand in under 3 seconds.
Well, that's pretty much all the time, right? Any offense.
Like, no excuses. Throw it away.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not, you're gonna make a read 1, 2, 3 throw 1, 2, 3 throw.
Well, you got to give him routes then, because you did hear Holgorsen say a lot of the times Minnesota match routes and nobody was open. So that's where me and you butt heads a little bit, where you say he's holding the ball. Well, he's holding the ball because nobody's open. Now what?
And
just wing it out of bounds.
When you're not a running threat as a quarterback, that's another person in coverage.
Right. So you just gotta. It's kind of. See, I regard it as kind of a sad conversation we have. Like, okay, so people are covered. He can't run, so just wing it out of bounds. I mean, that's no way to live.
Well, you got to run it more than 13 times on first down. I mean,
right. You had a great stat this week where Nebraska ran the tailback 16 times. 13 of them were on first downs, which means what?
Very predictable.
They don't run on second and third.
So you've got to make defenses account for Emmett on second and third down.
100%.
Like, I think every first down, yeah, they're going to hand it to him. But second and 4, second and 5, Holgorsen throws.
Running on first down all the time is not commitment to the run game.
No. Like, you've got to be okay with running on second and 5.
He leads the Big Ten in rushing. Use him.
It's the only thing on this offense that leads the conference.
Right. Now, it's kind of a good news, bad news, because people are going to say, well, gosh, you just can't lean on him because there's not really a backup, a viable backup. But you haven't run him much, so he's pretty fresh. I mean, you only ran 14 times against Minnesota.
No, I know. But, yeah, most Big Ten teams carried 2 or 3 ponies in the trailer. Nebraska's got 1.
I know, and that's unfortunate because we
recognize this all the way back.
We did, and we saw even Minnesota bring, they bring Darius Taylor at you, but then they bring Fame is your boy at you, and he's not bad.
Well, Northwestern,
they've thrown 3 guys.
They carry 4 guys.
Yeah.
They got 4 guys that they'll play.
Yeah, they run
2 primary backs and 2 more other.
Right.
Cam Porter is still there.
Yeah, he's hurt now. He's not playing.
But, I mean, that guy like that has been there for 20 years.
Yeah, Porter's hurt. But, no, you're right. They bring 3 at you. Nebraska can't do that. But that, again, I don't want to stray from the conversation. Make Emmett a big part of this game, and that can help slow the pass rush.
It is a different style, though. Like, when you go back to the Frost era, we were accustomed to seeing 100-snap games.
Right. It's way different.
And now we're seeing 55, 60-snap games.
So do the math. If it's 55 snaps like it was the other day, Friday, and you're sacked 9 times, and then Rhule says there could have been 4 or 5 more, you're just down to not enough plays.
Rocco Spindler will be back. That's big news. And Elijah Pritchett expected to be back out there. But
Pritchett will start, right?
He'll start at left, yeah, and we'll see where that goes. But those 2 guys being back will make a difference.
God, Rocco's just it's just about pain tolerance, according to Rhule. God dang, though, those guys can be awfully blunt. And Holgorsen said, we're not the same offense without Rocco. And Dylan's doesn't feel as comfortable without Rocco.
All right. Well, before we take it to headline 3, again, we're brought to you by the title sponsor of StayHome.Care, phenomenal company. They're there to help you and your family. When you can't be there, call them at 402-205-2233. Again, StayHome.Care. We're also brought to you by BRUNT and BRUNT Workwear, BRUNT Boots. We've got our BRUNT boots. I'm going to put them on probably and get outside in the yard and do some yard work in my BRUNT boots. I know Sip is.
Oh yeah, I love them.
But BRUNT, if you're not familiar, phenomenal products. Not just boots, but the boots are really their specialty, and they have all sorts of boots and shoes that you can wear that kind of fit what you need. Obviously boots that you can just wear out and about, or boots that you want to work in, fireproof boots. But high level work boots is their specialty at BRUNT Workwear, but also great sweatshirts, t-shirts, other things that you can wear on the job. And we've got a special for our HuskerOnline users. If you've never used BRUNT, go to bruntworkwear.com/Husker, and you will get $10 off at BRUNT with the code Husker. Again, that's bruntworkwear.com/Husker. You'll get $10 off. That's bruntworkwear.com/Husker, promo code Husker. All right. Let's move it in to headline number 3. Nebraska must have answers for Northwestern's grinding run game. And I was digging into this on Wednesday night, Sip.
Mm-hmm.
Northwestern averages over 4 yards per carry after contact.
Jeez.
And that,
you know what that means.
To put it in perspective, Nebraska, they're towards the top of the conference in that category. Nebraska's 15th in the category.
Okay, so you better wrap up. You better have population to the ball, as John Butler likes to say, and he's right. These conversations are kind of frustrating, I think, for Nebraska fans, because they hear that and then they hear that Northwestern averages 39.57 carries per game. 40 carries per game they average. So what do, Sean? They stick to the run.
They're committed. Well, they understand their team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't have a stable of wide receivers. They don't have an elite passing game.
No, they don't.
But what they do have is depth at running back.
And there's a commitment to the run, and from what I hear, from what I've gathered, sound scheme. They are a zone team, but you know what else, Sean? They run counter, they run power. It's a pretty elaborate run game. So that's my biggest concern. It should be probably the biggest concern. It's not really Preston Stone, their quarterback.
He's got 26 design run yards and 71 scramble run yards.
And he doesn't. Bill Bush covered this on the morning show. He does not have a real strong arm. He doesn't. He's not. Those throws to the wide field. He has trouble making those.
Yeah, his 20+ yard throws down the left sideline are 3 for 16. 20+ yard throws down the right sideline, he's 1 for 15. So he's a combined 4 for 31 on deep balls down the left or the right sideline. He is 3 for 3 over the middle, though.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Those internal throws, I call them, the middle of the field type throws, slants and stuff like that. He's accurate. He's accurate. He's
really good over the middle. Most of his damage on the year has been over the middle.
Why is that? Because he doesn't have a real strong arm. He doesn't have to throw it outside the hashes that often.
So yeah, getting him in a situation to throw is going to be big. When he's under pressure, he's not very good. 4 of his interceptions have come under pressure.
Well, goes back to what then? It's the run game. The run game takes pressure off of him. Preston Stone, by the way, 24 years old. So he's savvy. He'll hang in there. My concern in this game isn't the first quarter, it's the fourth. Because that team right there, you get up 21-7, Sean, you don't take a deep breath against these guys. They keep coming. They're relentless. They're relentless in their discipline, and they're relentless in the way they play. So this is a scary game.
And Griffin Wilde is a wild.
It's one of those. He's number 17.
But he 50 of their targets, he has more than double the amount of targets of any receiver on the roster. Their number 2 wide receiver is at 22 targets. He's at 51. So the ball most often is going to go to 17.
Yeah, 17. They move him around. They get him one-on-one. Butler said we're going to have to win one-on-one against him, and it's not easy. So that's their guy. You're right. He has 36. He has 36 catches, Sean, and the next guy has 15. He has 36. Their second highest total is 15. So that where they're going.
And 4 of the interceptions they've thrown have been on plays to him.
Is that right?
So they do tend to force it to him, I think.
Well, along those lines, though, Stone threw 4 interceptions in the opener against Tulane. Since then, 7 touchdowns, 1 pick.
And a lot of that, I think they've adjusted what they do. Yeah.
So I'm not predicting 42-13 in this game.
This game,
Sean,
feels like I'm not going to roast you about your prediction.
I'm not going.
The crowd in Beatrice, though, did have fun with Sipple's pick last week.
Yeah, that was. I was in Beatrice last week
at our Husker lunch event, and
I was really confident. I was real. I'm not only Beatrice, the Iowa fans, because I'm on an Iowa station. Oh God, they're talking about getting roasted. I'm getting hammered.
You're getting hammered in Iowa.
Oh God.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we take it to headline number 4, again, we're brought to you by StayHome.Care. Great company. If you need help, you got a loved one you can't be there for, needs a ride somewhere, needs help at home with just simple tasks or just companionship, call them at 402-205-2233. They're there for you when you can't be there for those that you love in your life. Thanks to StayHome.Care. We're also brought to you by HelloFresh. And it's that time of year. At our house, Simple, right now, we're managing swim practices, basketball practices, soccer just got over, speaking events, football.
And you're the cook.
Exactly. You don't have time to grocery shop, plan. Well, HelloFresh does all that for you.
God, that looks good.
They make it simple. They have over 100 things per week you can pick from. And you say, look, I need these 2 recipes. I like the steak, whatever, or the chicken, whatever the items are that you want. They have them. And you say, there's 4 of us. We're going to have 2 meals this week from HelloFresh. They bring all the ingredients, all fresh, all the produce, all the meat. It's in a cooler, all the recipe cards, all the spices, all the seasonings. You're not going to be at your local grocery store trying to find some extravagant spice for 15 minutes. Nothing's worse than when your wife sends you to the store and like, can you find this special pink Himalayan salt?
Especially if it has to be gluten-free.
And you're looking all over Hy-Vee,
right? And
you figure out more about the store than the kid that works there.
Right. Oh yeah, we've all been there.
All right, but that's my other rant there. But yeah, HelloFresh makes it so much better for you. They give it all right to you at your doorstep, and we've got a deal for you with HuskerOnline. They're going to give you 10 free meals with your order. As a new customer, you'll get 10 free meals by using the promo code Husker10FM. Just go to HelloFresh.com/Husker10FM. That FM stands for free meals. And you'll get 10 free meals for life. That's 1 box per active subscription. Free meals applied at discount on first box. New subscribers only. It varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/Husker10FM to get 10 free meals and free item for life. All right, let's get into the Big Ten games here as we go to headline number 4, Sipple. Another big week in the conference. A lot of 5-2 teams will match up. And I feel like that's where like the SEC, their teams are all ranked at 5-2, where like a lot of these Big Ten teams aren't getting a lot of love right now, with say a 5-2 record. And I don't know why that is, but the Big Ten is just kind of looked upon as a down league in a lot of respects. But you'll get Rutgers at Purdue is kind of the lower profile game. But how about Indiana hosting UCLA? I am intrigued with this game.
Or do you just, Sean, don't you think Indiana will just put the wood to them?
They should.
Yeah.
But UCLA has played really well.
They have. I guess the intrigue for me is, can UCLA hang with them? Indiana, Sean, is real. Indiana is a team that could legitimately press Ohio State. So I don't think UCLA is going to be a problem. Now, my prognostications this year have been off the charts awful. But, I mean, come on. Indiana up front is really good. I just don't think UCLA can go in there. I don't think UCLA can go in there.
And it is an 11 a.m. game for the West Coast team.
That can be sleepy. Good point. That's trouble for the – now that I think, generally speaking, like Nebraska went in there and played at 11 a.m., right?
I'd assume UCLA went out there Thursday.
I imagine. I mean, okay, so what am I getting at? USC slept walk through most of its game against Illinois, which was an 11 a.m. game. I think it's edge Indiana on that, too.
And you stay in Indy and you drive up.
Sean, Indiana's real. I mean, they're talking about Mendoza as like maybe the first overall pick. People are saying that. Their quarterback. Now, to counter that, you know who's playing well? It's Nico. Nico's playing well since Neuheisel's taken over that offense. I have said Nico can play. He scares me as a runner.
And honestly, when all these things are happening with their staff, did you really think UCLA would get it figured out?
No.
I know, it's amazing. It's a great story.
No, I didn't. Yeah, that's really impressive, but it's really an indictment on the former coach. What were you doing? I mean, how bad was the culture there?
Well, you brought in Sinceri. He left Indiana to come to UCLA, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Illinois, Washington, a pair of 5-2s. That's really not getting a lot of. Washington gets really no respect for being 5-2. Their 2 losses are to Michigan and Ohio State.
Wow. Washington's pretty good.
This will be a test. I mean, that is a hard place to play.
It really is.
And if Illinois goes in there and wins, they're an underdog, 3.5 point dog.
Yeah. I really like Damon Williams. Washington's quarterback is a problem, but God, we were listening to that Washington-Michigan game driving home from Minnesota, and he threw 2 bad picks.
On the road.
Yeah. So he's got a rebound. That game seems almost too close to call. I don't know.
I lean towards Washington at home.
I do. I do too.
Iowa 8.5-point favorite over 5-2 Minnesota. 2 5-2s right there as well. Square off.
I talked to my Iowa friends today because I was on their show. You know what Iowa has, Sean? They have a big time offensive line this year. They're raving about it now.
Cade Pieper from Norfolk Catholic is the starter for them.
Is he really?
Was not recruited by Nebraska.
Guard.
I believe he's either center or guard. I think he's guard.
They love that offensive line. I watched one series against Penn State, and my thought was, oh, God. So I asked Trent about Congdon about it, and he said, oh, yeah. He said there could be 2 All-Americans on that line. There'll be, hey, Sean, that's going to be rough duty for Nebraska.
Especially the way we've seen Nebraska struggle to get to win one-on-ones.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you can't just cheat your way by these guys. You have to have technique.
Right. 100%.
Wisconsin at Oregon, and I think the storyline here, 2-5 Wisconsin, can they score? They've gone 2 weeks in a row without points, and there was a longly worded statement of support by AD Chris McIntosh for Luke Fickell and also asking for money.
And I think if you're Oregon, you try to shut them out. You know how this game goes. There's no mercy. What do you always say? Barry Alvarez told you, nobody cares if you're down. They don't. Nobody cares. They'll try to. Sean, can you imagine going 3 games without scoring? Could happen here. Or hey, Oregon's defense is excellent.
And for Oregon, come with the 6-1 record, they obviously want to come out and play well, and
they want to put it to them.
Solidify their position in the seeding.
Style points matter. They matter
because Oregon could still play itself into a bye.
Yeah. Yep.
And then finally, Michigan at Michigan State. Michigan's a 14.5-point favorite in East Lansing. I think Michigan's going to win, but I guess the question is, do you think they'll cover?
It's a scary game for Jonathan Smith, rivalry game. If Michigan blows your doors off, Michigan State looks like the 17th best team in the league right now. Jonathan Smith, his seat is sort of low-key hot.
New AD.
Yeah, if you get hammered at home by Michigan,
good.
I'd watch that.
So big weekend of games in the conference to kind of just separate. And I think for Nebraska, man, you really want to be 2-2 out of this weekend, or 3-2 out of this weekend.
Get back on the right track. Show your fan base that Minnesota wasn't real. That was an aberration.
And another part of it, you just want to get the 6 win out of the way. You don't want this. 100%. Are they going to get the 6 thing going on for weeks?
Yes. No, you don't want that. Get Bull LG. I mean, think about
Matt Rhule's 1-9 in games trying to get the 6 wins at Nebraska.
Yeah, so you get this win. You know how this works now. These mental hurdles are big, and you get that you wash that Minnesota loss away, and then you set your sights on this gigantic game. You need a little momentum going into SEC, into the USC game. This game is gigantic. I've heard people say it's the biggest one of the Rhule era. I don't know. I don't know how to play that game. I just know this. It feels gigantic to me because you have to show that Minnesota wasn't real, that there is progress in the program. Progress to me is responding immediately to that loss.
I'll be interested in a couple of weeks what they do with that UCLA game, because will it be a night game or will it be a 2:30? I hope it's a 2:30, which would be 12:30 out at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be, oh my God, think about
the San Gabriel Mountains at 12:30.
Just the bright LA sunshine. We've seen that before. We saw it at USC last year, right? How gorgeous. Now, that was a 2:30 game though, wasn't it?
12:30 local time.
12:30 is gorgeous.
Yeah,
right?
like that is the prime time to play college football.
Gorgeous. Yeah, I don't even want to think about it. You got to think about Northwestern right now.
All right. Well, before we head to headline 5, again, we're brought to you by our title sponsor of StayHome.Care. They've been with us a long time, and we respect the work they do and what they do for you, your family, your loved ones. Call them at 402-205-2233. And we're also brought to you by one of our other longtime sponsors. And who would that be, Steve Sipple?
Oh, we're doing this. It's Larson Motors. It is a longtime sponsor. We appreciate them. They're in Nebraska City, and they are one of the Midwest only dealerships with all the major brands in one location. We're talking about Larson Motors. Finding your new Chevrolet, GMC, Hummer, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram, it really has never been easier. So how about starting your new experience today at LarsonMotorGroup.com. That's LarsonMotorGroup.com, or at Larson Motors in Nebraska City. Larson Motors, real people,
real deals. All right. Well, let's go into odds and ends. Headline 5. Interesting data. USA Today always does these salary data tables.
Yeah.
And they have one now for GMs. And Nebraska's Pat Stewart is actually the 5th highest paid GM in the country. I believe he comes in at 800,000 was the number on him. Lombardi at North Carolina is obviously your number 1 highest paid GM. He makes 1.5 million, which is 600,000 more than Ohio State's GM makes.
Jeez.
Mark Pantoni. And then Marshall Macca, Oregon's GM, makes 900. Alabama's GM, Courtney Morgan, makes 825. And then Pat Stewart's tied with LSU. So, I mean, Nebraska's not cutting corners with what they're spending on the GM. I mean, they're basically at the same level as LSU, Alabama, and not that far behind Oregon and Ohio State.
They should be. And now, as far as Stewart goes, it's way, way, way too early to judge his performance. In my opinion, he was only brought in the spring, right?
Before, he's not been able to do any roster building
right.
yet.
So he's an unknown at this point. But I'm fully supportive of Nebraska paying somebody that money. I mean, we're expecting Nebraska to compete at a very high level. You're going to have to pay at a very high level.
And they, in perspective, they were paying their previous GM around 3.25, 325.
Yeah, and their previous GM was substandard. I mean, he was. So they needed to upgrade there. They did it, but it wasn't until the spring. So we'll see what that picture looks like going forward.
Other odds and ends, 5 for 5 tabled, meaning the talk of getting the free 5th year is not happening. And I thought, okay, it's a good idea, but I also think about on the other end,
what
it'd be kind of an accounting roster management nightmare.
Because
all of a sudden everybody gets 5 years instead of 4.
Affects a lot of conversations, right?
Yeah.
Affects the record book, right?
Well, it affects the portal.
Yeah.
It affects high school recruiting. Somebody brought up a great point. Like, what if Caitlin Clark's record, or, there's going to be a situation where there is a guy that plays and has 5 good years.
Right. That's what I meant by record book. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do on that.
But it's tabled for now.
Good.
And I do think there's a lot of money pieces to it, because I don't know if everybody could afford to do it.
Well, that's the other part of it.
There are roster limits, though. So theoretically, everybody has the same roster limits. So then at that point, you're going to hurt high school kids.
Yeah.
In recruiting. So how about,
they're already hurt, by the way. Was this just another
opportunities?
Thing? Yeah.
I was talking to one of the moms in Beatrice. Her daughter's a softball player, a couple to play on the softball team there. And she said with softball recruiting, just how much pressure gets put on girls to commit early because of the limited spots. They really pressure these girls to make their decisions like when they're sophomores.
Well, it's not that profound in football, but there's more pressure now. There's fewer spots.
Yeah. And then you can use that and say, hey, we like you, but there's only 4 spots.
Right.
All right. Other odds and ends. How about this? Tony Vitello of Tennessee is going to be the manager of the San Francisco Giants. He's the first ever known college coach to go from college coach straight to MLB manager. But I will add, in 2015, Darren Erstad interviewed to be the Dodgers manager before they ended up hiring Dave Roberts. Erstad withdrew his name. There was a legitimate chance Erstad was in play to be the Dodgers manager.
And I can see that working. This is an interesting conversation because it's never happened.
No.
This is unprecedented. He's 47 years old. Tennessee won the national title in 2024. He's 200 games over 500 at Tennessee. That's in the SEC. He won 210 games over 500. He's won the SEC 3 times. They've been courting him for a long time, weeks. But they finally nailed it down. So yeah, you pointed it out to me yesterday. It's a fascinating story that the Giants went this way. People will be following this closely.
Well, and it's really the same. I mean, his pay is basically the same.
About $3 million a year.
Yeah, so it's not like he's getting a pay raise because I mean, it's kind of like the NFL. NFL and pro baseball don't really overpay their managers and coaches.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the salary structure there, but yeah, the reports I read were a little indefinite, but it made it sound like it's pretty
in the threes.
Yeah, he was making good money at Tennessee.
But Pat Murphy of the Brewers, he was Arizona State's coach, but he had to kind of climb his way up the MLB ranks.
Yes, he went into the minors, right?
Well, just like
he was a bench coach, I believe.
Jim Hendry left Creighton, and he went into the bigs, and I think Hendry was an interim manager for the Cubs at one point, but he's always been more on the GM side of things.
But nobody went. What we're saying is nobody went from
coach to manager
directly. Yeah,
Buster Posey's the GM of the Giants.
Young guy. I mean, his career didn't end just a couple years ago.
Yeah. The thing about, I watch a lot of pro baseball.
I know you do.
The manager, I don't even know if it matters because there's so many of these analytical people that tell you the analytics and how you're going to manage the game.
Aren't you a big Dave Roberts guy?
Well, he's and he's the best manager in baseball.
Do you know that?
Well, I mean, it's not easy to do what they've done.
You are very biased in this opinion.
They've won the division like 10 years in a row or something.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you. I love Roberts.
And it's not basically people are because you spend the most money. It's not that easy. A lot of teams spend money in baseball.
Yeah, I don't know how much. I wonder how much. I'd like to talk to baseball people about how much impact the coach has. The manager. Don't call him coach. Manager. I made that mistake covering the Salt Dogs one time.
Coach
after the game, I was a fill-in covering the pro team over here, and I kept calling him coach. And I guess later the beat writer came to me that week and said they were all making fun of you because you were calling him coach. He's the manager. Coach.
You're like, okay.
It's the manager. It's
probably the last Salt Dogs game you covered.
I think it was.
And then finally, man, what a bombshell in the NBA with the FBI. So these were rigged card games.
Well, there's two.
And then prop bets and gambling.
Well, there's two. It sounds to me like there's two investigations going on simultaneously. One is the one big name, Chauncey Billups, was involved in these illicit poker games that were connected with the mob where they were just ripping off people.
Rich people.
Yeah. So that's one. And then the other one is a player, Terry Rozier, who's being investigated for basically altering his performance to affect prop bets. So it's a nightmare for the NBA. Now we saw this morning, and then me and you had to do our thing where we go speak. So I don't know all the updates, but there you go. 30 plus arrests, 11 states, 1 nationwide takedown.
Wanted to see Kash Patel, out in front talking. This thing could get political too.
It's big in this society because a lot of people saw this coming. Bill Bradley saw it coming. Tom Osborne saw it coming. Why would we be surprised with how pervasive gambling is that these guys are doing it that are involved? Why would we be surprised?
In Nebraska, you're not able to do it on your phone. That's the one
caveat.
You have to go into the casino in person. Mm-hmm. So that's a little harder, but
think about the principles involved in this. Billups, how much money that guy has and how much time it's dangerous. It's a dangerous world. Those guys they're savvy competitors, and here's this opportunity to make even more money. I'm glad the FBI is trying to get this curtailed. It's bad for sports that we have this in the back of our minds sometimes. Oh, was this guy messing with the game? Is he messing with the prop bets? It's because it stays in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I heard one scenario where there was a prop bet and a guy could fake an injury and say, "Hey, I'm out for the game."
Say my foot hurts.
Yeah, and
take the unders on him. You know, if the prop bet's 20 or more, he could look at that and say, "I'm going to."
And then there's footage of the mob coming over and with the money to pay people the winnings.
It's not good. It cuts into credibility, and that like for the NBA commissioner today must be a nightmare, right?
Gambling was almost easier when it was all like illegal bookies. When you like actually mainstream gambling, and
now we've mainstreamed,
try to legalize it, you get these kinds of problems. Where back in the day when Joe from the corner bar ran the book, none of this stuff ever got out.
No, there was the Black Sox scandal, and there's Pete Rose. There's stuff that happened.
Yeah, but not to this level.
Not to this level.
Like the Iowa thing.
Right. So now, I mean, college kids have been caught wagering. And why, again, I ask you, why would you be surprised? It's right on their phone.
Well, and these college athletes now have more money than ever before.
They have more money. Now, I will say this. It's not like they're not told that it can't happen. They are told at a high level. Nebraska will bring in an FBI, a member of the FBI to tell the team, this is absolutely something you can't do. It's not like these kids aren't educated. Now, they get to the pros. I don't know how much of that goes on. I imagine NBA teams would bring in FBI people, feds, to talk to them, but I don't know that for sure.
Well, and like Michael Jordan was a notorious gambler.
Those guys, I mean, yeah, exactly. So here we are. And again, there's a lot of people out there that will say, saw this coming 20 years ago, saw this coming 10 years ago.
Yeah, what comes next is what we're all interested. Like how hard will the hammer come down?
It will come down hard because they got to send a message because of what we're saying. It can't happen.
All right. Well, Huskers
it'll come down hard.
Northwestern, Saturday, 11 a.m. Husker Online postgame live. We'll probably be on about 4:30 to break down the game on Husker on postgame live. For Steve Sipple, I'm Sean Callahan. Thanks for joining us here on Husker Online Headlines.